Yeah, I just did a blog and I just wanted to summarise it because I just woke up and just did that and started rambling on about the past. The past is the past, leave the past in the past, learn fast. An egoic self is an egoic self and it ain't no good for your mental health if you hang on to your arsey past, because you know some of us get instilled with a soul when we hit about 40. You know, and everything before that and everybody that crosses you after that, they can fuck off, because that's where you get your backbone and say, I'm a fully realised individual. At those times, I was down, depressed, I was lost because of long-term relationships for 10 years, and I didn't know how to stand on my own too. When I see these entities now, I just be like, and that'll be it, just nothing. Just a couple of entities. Racism is not part of my agenda, but hating on poor shows of human beings is allowed. You can't just say you're not allowed to dislike anybody. It's like saying, oh, you're not allowed to exhibit any kind of hatred for somebody just because they're black, because that would be counter-racism and that would be reverse racism and stupidity, wouldn't it? When you work in jobs like security and someone runs out with a bag of shopping and it's an IC1, it's an IC2, it's an I33 wearing a hoodie. Well, isn't it? Because they've committed a crime and they're wearing a hoodie. So if you didn't describe the people that committed the crime, then that's just normality. Like, you know, I'm sick of people, like, you know, picking up on one thing. Oh, let's get to the reason why Laura might have been ever branded racist. After all this horrificness, which I just described in that last one. Imagine you're walking home after a unity march, minding your own business, and someone starts threatening you with your liberty in your ear, harassment, stalking to that degree, when you're like, you've been to this unity march, you didn't hold any signs, you held a sign, you didn't use a pen at any time, you didn't do anything, you were just jungling, messing down the street wearing a yellow high-vis, so they target you, whoever the hell is. Maybe they're part of their undercurrents and they've had their little sticky fingers in my whole world forever, and maybe the police are linked to these people that I'm talking about, and there is no them and us, and they all surround a place like New Cross Music Venue. They were probably part of the drug scene, probably the person that dropping the drugs off at that neighbour downstairs that I was talking about earlier, who gave me a little thing to make feel me euphoric, then had me passed out, comatose, coming around to someone naked, and my bra undone, jumping to the bed, running out the door, because they're hippies and they're burning sage. All is forgiven for being targeted, for being got at, you know. Sensibility is fully healed. It's up to me, guru self, to be happy or disempowered, or to say to every single last fucking event that ever happened, it empowered me. I wash my hands, I'm cleansed. Okay? But when we got to the SCRB, I am religiously, racially aggravating in words and writing as an artist, because it's my job to be. And if you don't want any prior proof of it, even my old school box tells me that that's what an artist's job is to be, to challenge people because they're stupid. We're all stupid. We all look at the screen and we think that that's the definition of life, but we all and then walk outside and we pay a high fucking price because it's just a screen. And it tells us to, the people that smoke drugs are demonised, and everybody that does drugs is demonised. But the moment your kid's in fucking 14, 15, 16, it's the Mac Miller culture, and half the people don't know who Mac Miller is. And I only just learned who he was, and he's dead at 26 because he was given shitty Valium to kill him. Because these dark entities that I talk of, their egoic things, are very, very real, and they surround artists like Amy Winehouse, maybe, or other people. Because you certainly don't leave an emancipated young woman that does loads of drugs laying on her face, do you? I mean, I don't, like, sometimes. So, it's just that. It's exasperating and it's very real, and it's your job as spiritually enlightened people, because everybody that goes into his shop should be into self-mastery and perfection. That should be their fucking sole purpose, really. About defining their edges and grooming them perfect selves. They're godly, they're queen and king souls on the planet. And if you're a king, queen soul and you're looking into Eastern culture, they only teach the royals Tai Chi, everything a block or a defence. There's no attack in it. And the only people that I've found to be into attack or teaching people ways around it were police. Provocation and fascism and stuff like that, feeling like you're in a cage. But we're coming through this together. We're not going to allow them to do this distancing so everything's roboticized, because they want everything sterile, and they haven't maybe got a police then, but it's conditioning some minds into total sterility place. There's full on weird energies going on in the world, and as a security guard it's my job to unify races across the globe. Black, white, green, any colour, don't give a fuck, because it's the nature of the soul what counts. I look at the eyes mostly, seeing what's inside there, because there's characters and people that grasp it all and are 100% switched on, and maybe they're getting more switched on with the evolution of computers, because I was born in 79, like I said, so I had the first Amstrads. Beep, 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 beep to the bot, beep to the beep, beep. The Amstrads, the Ataris, and going on to where we are at now. And I don't like it if you don't get supremacy on me like there's something to be jealous of. I have not had it fucking easy. I relate to black people more for a while there because I am basically challenged with the status quo. I spent all of my secondary school introverted because I was made to feel sad and perverted at my primary year of 10, removed from my whole peers, always being told off, given the lines, drawn up in class. So I equated being in the spotlight with being embarrassed and going bright red. I didn't, I was double-edged sword, cultivate all their artistry, but then also feeling full of like this conflict and weird shit that we have to work through. And when I said about the law of attraction, acting is basically lying, isn't it? And we all lie to ourselves. Lying is that why I met crackheads off the bat. Maybe there's an underbelly culture that knows how to work people intrinsically more than you can ever imagine, and you don't know what your kids get subject to the minute they're out the door if they show an interest in certain fields. Maybe people are earmarked within our slave race culture with the evolution of birth certificates. These are the times we live in that you need to really wise up to exactly how powerful the undershady elite can be around your life. I'm pretty sure they can get at me like that and boom, my game's either in it or on it or off it. Why? Because of your tendency to be able to read the whole scene in this day and age, since like trying to cultivate this total consciousness, this awareness, and I've always been on it. The work, internal work done. I was going down Greenwich the other day and there was this wall of police and Muslims, just a wall of them with this man in a wheelchair that was like a emancipated soul, and I was seeing some sort of vision, and it was real, and I was flying on my bike, and I didn't stop flying, I just went straight through it because I don't know how to test it's like a roboticized atmospherics. There's something very strange at work in the world. There's more heaven and earth than you could ever understand, Laura. I believe in dimensions these days. I believe in 2012 when it was the end of time. Time is a interwoven thing that gets together a whole of existence. So I feel like I can go out there and I never know what I'm going to get, like a box of chocolates. Some people switch on more of their areas of their mind, which is basically how we interact with the whole world, that it can become very confusing for us. And that's why I just watched the trips in LSD. I did a elixir last year in the hope of just removing all this baggage and stress from my past, and it works, and they're all forgiven. So if I forgive them, you have no one's back to get, and if they've got beef with me, then they're lesser mortals. They haven't done the self-work, the guru work, the internal work. There's an ideal that we aim for in the evolution of hip-hop consciousness, in self-mastery, higher learning, and they're not, if they're promoting violence. Even within the industrial sense, if they take it to this, like, if there's no solution to the human anger and the shit that we see on the streets, the Rodney Kings and the total injustices, what, you're going to get robot dogs, and they're going to try and employ that 2 metre distance thing so they can keep it all like that, so everything is regulated, and that's where it's going to go, which is no way to live either, is it? That's why people are running in their droves. Just before, there were people that saw this coming miles away, certain sort of evolution of culture, and they go into forests and they're fucking just gone because they don't want it. It's like, what is this becoming? We just all live in our little caves and we'll do more avocado online shopping. But what am I talking about? That's it. That's the summary. Don't hate somebody. I'm not even rich. I haven't had zero income for how long? And yes, I took an elixir, and even down to the arts culture, that's like a text, unholy elixir. What's that about? Is there an unholy one? What? Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you. Cheers. Thanks. That one. Loving COVID culture. It's very, like, we are very divided in places, because I've been brought up in a no drugs culture, and as I was saying, I tried at 19, 20, didn't do it for the whole 10 years, 30 when I was unhappy and single. I run away from a town centre ward job, had a little bit of an adventure, tried little pieces here and there, shamanic drugs, different things, come back, a twin flame, someone that I was taught to invest so much in, and if it comes along, things like Celestine prophecies, external things that start happening, the magic, and she was a twin flame, I'd say, and most of my anti-arms work was done in the name of loving somebody else, not me, because it wasn't a realisation that would snap out or snap on until I walked a certain walk. We go through life blind. I might be a waker-upper, a livener of souls, aspire to inspire, she taught people to do, so I do that. But the point is, in a 2.4, they say, no, this is bad, this is bad, this is all bad. COVID is their oath. There are people living up and down this land, they're your mothers and fathers, and they are full on ingratiated in a regime program, control, fear, and this is what is honing here. And that's what you find if you believe in that. I don't live in fear, but those people that have crossed me, who have egoic mad selves that would go, oh, she's accusing me of that. Yeah, dude, well, maybe I might put ownership on that and say it's partially my fault for trusting and the grey area of taking a substance with somebody I don't trust, and leave it down to just living and learning. And that, if I should see you, or I will depart, I don't want to be in your company. That's as good as hatred should get. If we make mistakes in that gangland London culture shithole scene. And that's my whole hour talking about that, and I hope I instilled enough in it to give you all the keys to your own freedom, liberty, and not living in fear in a place where people seem to play for supremacy. Supremacy only applies if you're into the culture. If you're not, you're not. So you can remove yourself at any time rather than get imbued in it, because we find that they say where there are drugs there is more crime, because it's egoic self at play. I don't even give a fuck about music industry. I don't really care. I wanted to lay down a track to make myself a somebody so I could roll out this thing called Rival Prime, because the idea was that it's the global capitalist hip hop in motion that allows liberty across the lands, because you get people trying to guilt buy you into buying fucking drugs in places like Camden, because if he don't sell a certain quota someone's gonna get him, you know. So imagine if you had brand ideas out there to turn to get you NVQ'd away for 6 months and just skip around the planet and run away from people. Wouldn't really have that hold over people anymore, would we? If there was safe environments and farming, hoofing, hemp farming, industrial safety nets to do it for people. So it's power to the people right on time. It's doing away with the putting walls up and clinical control, because we're all going to need to get away from it in towns and cities if they keep up this fear COVID crap in order to probably close down industrial in the first place. Climate.